Welcome to qnawire.
Alright, so in this situation we have a boy and a girl facing each other at rest. The girl pushes the boy and they go in opposite directions. Now I know they go in opposite directions because of the conservation of momentum. Let's talk about this in more detail. So momentum before they push off has to equal to the total momentum after they push off. And in that case, that's going to be 0. So let's talk about the momentum as they push off. So the mass of the boy multiplied by the velocity of the boy has to be equal to the mass of the girl multiplied by the velocity of the girl, but in the opposite direction, hence the negative sign. Now from here we can substitute these things in to figure out how fast the girl is going. The boy has a mass of 65 kilograms and he has a velocity of 2.9 meters per second. And that's going to be equal to minus the girl's mass, which is 40 kilograms, multiplied by the velocity of the girl. And then dividing both of these sides by the 40 kilograms will give us the Vg, which is going to be 4.71 meters per second. Now, we know that the boy faces west when he moves, so the girl has to be going to the east. Now, our second part of the question tells us we want to find how much potential energy is converted into mechanical energy. So to do that, we have to figure out how much kinetic energy there was. So to do that, we need to find the sum of all kinetic energy. Now the reason we're doing this is the girl had potential energy, and when she pushed, she did work and turned that into kinetic energy overall. And that kinetic energy is total with her and her brother. So the total kinetic energy in this situation is going to be 1/2 the mass of the boy times the velocity of the boy squared, plus 1/2 mass of the girl times the velocity of the girl squared. And we just calculated the velocity of the girl, which is great for us. We have 1/2 times 65 times 2.9 plus 1/2 times 40 times 4.71. That 4.71 is squared and that 2.9 is squared. Adding those up will give us 717 joules. Fantastic. So, is momentum conserved here? Let's have a think. Well, we started off with 0 momentum and we had to end up with 0 momentum as well. So, yes, momentum has to be conserved in this situation. So how is that possible if we have large forces? Well, all of our forces in this system are internal. So with all these forces being internal in the system, you cannot change the overall momentum inside of the system. The momentum has to be conserved. Now, how can we explain the fact that we have a conservation of momentum if there is no motion before but plenty of motion afterwards? Well, the final momentum is always going to be, in this kind of situation, equal in magnitude, but opposites in direction. That's not saying the velocities have to be the same, but the sum of the mass and the velocities has to be equal, going to the left and going to the right, going east and going west in this case. So our final momentum is still going to be 0.